Hello students, welcome to CMI's online classes, and this video is for class 6 chapter number 10, and the name of the chapter is measuring length and distance in metric units. The name of the topic in your book may be measurement of distance and motion, but in this session we will talk about measurement of length in a standard unit. So why do you need to measure the things? What is the need of it? Okay, so let's start with our discussions. So first of all, why do you measure things? We measure to mark it in such a way that it can be done. As for example, if you go to if you go to market to buy something, and there you have to buy milk, so what you will see? You will ask the shopkeeper to give you milk, but if you don't mention any measurement, how that shopkeeper will give you? He can't give you. But so you have to mention some unit, some standard units that is applicable to each and every things. Okay, as for example, for milk you have to mention it in a liter or milliliter. Similarly, if you go to buy what you can say, rice. Okay, so what you will say? Give me rice. He or she will ask you what amount, half kilo or 500 gram or 1 kilo, 2 kilo, 20 kilo, means they are their units. So first of all, what do you mean by measurement? So measurement is discussed in terms of length, area, volume, mass, temperature, and so on, and in other things also. So measurement is a process or the result of determining the magnitude of a quantity. That means how much, such as length of mass relative to unit of measurement, such as meter or a kilogram. Okay, so let's see. So when we measure length, we measure how long something is. So we have different units for a length. It's not that we have a unit similar to all the objects. It's not that. Okay, for length we have meter, centimeter, kilometer. For area you have squares. Okay, that means meter square. For volume you have liter, milliliter. For mass you have kgs, milligrams. For temperature you have degree centigrade or degree Kelvin. Okay, similarly we are talking about length or distance, so we must have some units for that. Okay, so let's go further and put it. So what about length? When we are measuring length, we are trying to figure how long an object is. That means for length and distance we will measure the length of an object, the length of the things whatsoever. Okay, as for example, if I ask you to measure the length of water, is it possible? No, it's not possible, because water doesn't have any length. Yes, it can be measured according to, if we measure it the distance of a river, in that case we can measure. Okay, similarly there are two systems of length that we use to determine length: the customary system and the metric system. So what do you mean by customary system and metric system? Customary systems are not standard. Okay, as for example, in a home, if someone asks you, if your parents ask you to measure the length of a table, how long it is. How will you measure? You don't have any measuring instrument there. So you usually measure it by the length of a finger, the thumb finger and the little finger. Okay, we will discuss it later. And metric system is a standard unit of measuring the length of an object. As for example, if you have a scale, you can measure the thing, how long it is, or how much, what is the length of a table in centimeter or in meter. Okay, so let's go further and know. So customary system, as I talked, how people used to measure the things in the ancient times. Okay, so they used to measure it by hand span. That means the little finger and the thumb finger, as we can see in the left figure. Then they used to measure it by cubit, which is from elbow to the middle finger, tip of the middle finger. Okay, then we have foot span also. That means the length of our feet. Okay, they used to measure it accordingly. Similarly, how they measure time? They measure the day by between daylight and darkness. Similarly, for month, they measure by appearance of the moon, because full moon almost have 27 and a half days. Okay, so that duration they used to measure, and this is called customary amount. Okay, and this can differ because every persons are not equal. They have different cubit, different hand span, different foot pace or foot span. Okay, so we must know the exact amount, that is standard unit of length. So some of the tools used to measure length and distance are a metric ruler, a metric stick and a metric tape measure. Okay, the left one we have metric ruler, which you regularly use in your school days. Okay, it comes in 12 centimeter. Okay, usually the small one. Then we have the meter stick, the long one, which we use for experiments in various lengths. This also can be used or is being used in schools. And the metric tapes, that means it is synthetic, and these are used mostly by the tailors, okay, those who stitch clothes. Okay, so these are the standard tool of measuring length, and for long we have long measuring tapes. Hello students, welcome to CMI's online classes, and this video is for class 6 chapter number 10, and the name of the chapter is measuring length and distance in metric units. The name of the topic in your book may be measurement of distance and motion, but in this session we will talk about measurement of length in a standard unit. So why do you need to measure the things? What is the need of it? Okay, so let's start with our discussions. Part, that is what unit which unit is used when. So as we know, centimeter and millimeter, they are used to measure small lengths, and for long distances or long lengths we use meter or kilometer. Okay, so meter or kilometer are used to measure long distances or longer things such as school buses. You can't measure school buses in centimeter or millimeter. Okay, it must be measured at least in meter, say 15 meter or 10 meter. Okay, and 1 meter is exactly 3.3 inches or 3 feet 3 inches. Okay, 12 inches make 12 centimeter makes 1 foot. Okay, so that is the use of other measuring units. And for bridges we use kilometers or meters also. As for example, for Gandhi Setu, it is the longest bridge in the world. Actually it was, but we will consider it as the longest bridge. Almost its length is 7 to 8 kilometers. Okay, or 6, I think so. But we can use it in meter also, means 6,000 meter. That means 1 kilometer is equal to 1,000 meter. Then let's move towards another part. That means for measuring long distances, meter stick can be placed one after another along the distance, counting the total number. If you don't have any other equipments for measuring, but if I tell you to measure the distance of your classroom, how you will measure? First you will make a small length, then you will keep on adding, and after adding you will multiply. As for example, your 12 centimeter scale, okay, it's 1 foot, and if you have to measure the length of your classroom or breadth of your classroom, how will you measure? If it is into 10, that means 12 feet. Okay, and almost that comes 4 meters. Similarly, so smaller division of the meters, that means millimeter and centimeter, are used to measure the length of shorter distance of things, like piece of chalk or height of a pencil. It can be measured in millimeter or centimeter. Okay, if you have a small pencil, if you measure it, it can be of 5 centimeter or 6 centimeter. Okay, but if it is lower than that, if it is smallest, then you can say it is 15 millimeter or 20 millimeter. Okay, similarly we can measure the things according to its length. We'll move towards this scale. To put this measurement into perspective, we can compare them to everyday objects. Okay, as for example, 1 meter is about the width of an average person thumbnail. That means your thumbnail is almost 1 centimeter. It can differ, okay, but it is an average. We don't use the thumb to measure, it's only for discussion. Okay, similarly 1 millimeter is about the thickness of time. That means thickness of a coin. Okay, so thickness of a coin is almost 1 millimeter in length. So that is the smallest unit. Okay, then let's move to another part. Okay, here comes, okay, this is the length of the hand or the thumbnail, and this is the figure of dime. And let's move towards another part. So this is the scale that we use regularly, and it has been marked at 10 centimeter. And in 10 centimeter we have 10 millimeter. Sorry, in 1 centimeter we have 10 millimeter. Okay, so the drawing shows 10 centimeter of a meter stick. It has 10 centimeter, and each of those centimeters have 10 millimeters. So the total length is 10 centimeter, and 1 centimeter is equals to 10 millimeter. So the arrow indicates here specific millimeter location. Okay, so one is 1 millimeter. Then if we are at the half of 1 centimeter, it is 5 millimeter, then 10 millimeter. Similarly, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, then 100. So 10 centimeter of a scale is equals to 100 millimeter of a scale. Okay, let's see. Where the arrow points, we can figure it in millimeter. Then length and distances. As we already discussed that for kilometers use km, for meter we use m, for centimeter you use cm, and for millimeter we use double m, small m. Okay, according to the length of a things, length or distance of a thing. Okay. Then let's move towards another part, that is metric conversion. That means change in units. As I told you that 1 centimeter is equals to 10 millimeter. Okay, so similarly, so convert larger units to smaller ones, you multiply by unit of 10. And to make it smaller, that means to convert smaller units to larger, you divide it by 10. So we have fixed 10 as a unit of 10 for conversion. As for example, 1000 meter equals to kilometer, 100 hecto, 10 decameter, and 1 unit we can use meters. Similarly, decimeter, centimeter, and millimeter is given. So if you have to convert 2 meter to centimeter, you have to multiply it by 100. So 2 into 100, 200 centimeter. So 2 meters is equals to 200 centimeters. Similarly, to convert 3 millimeters to meters, you divide by 1000, as we see in the chart. So 3 divided by 1000, 0.003 meter. So 3 millimeter is equals to 0.03 meter. So this was all about simple conversions. Or find out how far apart the two prefixes are on the line above. For example, kilo and hectare are one placed apart, kilo and deca are two placed apart. Okay, so move the decimal point to the left to convert smaller units, or right to convert larger units by the number of places you found in the previous steps. So if there is no decimal in the number, assume it after the last digit the number. Okay, so here we have in the middle we have 1 unit, that is meter, and if we move towards left, we have deca into 10, then hectare into again 10 into 10, then hectare to kilometer again into 10. Then if you move towards right, deci, centi, and milli. If you have a standard unit of meter as one. Okay, so for better understanding, there is a word. King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. That means King kilo, Henry hecto, died, deca, by, means that is the standard unit 1 meter, then drinking deci, chocolate centi, milk milli. So this was for explanation. Okay, if you remember this, those sentence written in red, you can remember the figure of or the conversion of kilo to milli, milli to centi, centi to deca. Okay, and so on. Then we have example 1. To convert 1 kilometers to meters. Okay, so kilometers to meters. That means into 10 into 10 into 10. We have 1 kilometer equals to 1000 meter. Okay, similarly, if you have to convert meter to kilometer, you have to multiply or divide it by 10. Then let's move towards second example. Okay, meter to decimeter, decimeter to centimeter, centimeter to millimeter. Okay, so divided by 10, divided by 10 and divided by 10. So 1 millimeter is equal to 0.001 meter. Okay, so meter we have to keep stagnant. Then at last you have a problem. So let's do it. Convert the following measurement, 2 meter to centimeter. How will convert? So you have to, what you have to do? You have to divide. Okay, let's see. So 2 meter to centimeter. 2 meters equals to how many centimeters? So 200 centimeters. Similarly, 4 kilometers to meters, 4000 meters. 7 meters to millimeters, 7000 millimeters. Similarly, 5 centimeters to meters, we have 0.05 meter, because to convert centimeters to meters, we have to divide it. And for above, we have to multiply it. So this was all about conversion of the units. Okay, so this was all about the first part, and in our second part we will learn more.